Hi, everybody. Hi, social media land. Hi, over there in YouTube land. Hi, yes. It's me. We are here again on another episode of the Question Live Show. I know. I don't know if you were listening some time ago, maybe last month. I said summer schedule was going to be different. We were not going to show up in our settings at all time. Summer schedule just be going in a different light. We'll be doing different things. We show up on our regular schedule as well as we show up on different schedule. If you are not subscribed to this channel, then you don't know when we go live. Sometimes we go live from the outside, sometimes we go live from the inside, sometimes we go live at different times. So I ask you to subscribe to the channel. Ooh. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know when I go live. Maybe it is 8 p.m. Maybe it is 9. Maybe you get to be at a party with me. Maybe you get to travel with me. Maybe you just be at the park with me. Why? Because it is summertime. And when it's summertime, we get to do different things. Right? When it's summertime, we get to go outside and we enjoy the nice weather because Lord knows when winter. Yeah, no, winter is not my season. But guess what? That's the lie. Summer might be your season. And then that's the lie. So summer is my season, but we got to go through some season. And sometimes some season just go on for a long time. But anywho, this summer season, maybe somebody's having winter because we are a global platform. Maybe it is your winter season. And because it is my summer season, as you can see, I might look tan. I might look like I'm glowing and all sort of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I know where this people came from. Well, I think I know, but I don't want to convey. I don't want to admit it over here on YouTube. I think I know where these people came from. I know. And I'm trying to get rid of it because guess what? Do you know whose birthday is coming up? Like coming up, like right now, like in hindsight, like somebody's birthday is coming up. Yeah, somebody's birthday is coming up very soon. I'm not calling no names, but I'm just saying a pimple not gonna interrupt my photo. Anybody know of a way where I can get rid of this pimple right now, today? Oi? This pimple needs to go because this pimple been sitting right here since maybe Sunday or Monday. This pimple decided like, hi. So I'm trying to get rid of this pimple for the longest. So tonight I'm going to be doing a lot of things. Like it got to go before tomorrow. In, right? So yeah, so as I was saying, that summer comes in and summer goes, and we're running out of summer. Anybody notice that summer's just leaving? But we're doing different things in the summertime about entertainment. I hope you've been tuning in. About the concert. I hope you've been tuning in. I go to the park. I hope you've been tuning in. So I want to show a lot of outside things happening for the summer. So tonight I'm kind of like in the studio. So when we're outside, I want it to be outside with me. So please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so we can be outside together. A lot of things be happening outside. A lot of concert, a lot of stuff that's happening outside. So if I'm live at a concert, I need for you to be live with me. Just like when I'm sitting here in the studio, you are live with me, right? So it's the same thing. It's just that we've been doing different things for the summer. Some days it's just really hot. Some days it's just a lot happening for the summer. But I just need for you to keep up with me so we can go through this together. But anywho, we are here now. So welcome to another episode of the Question Live Show. I am your host. Moi is Verona Willis-Brown. I am your host. And because I am your host, I show up here almost every day from Tuesday to Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live. Again, because it's after summer, we have different summer schedules, so we are going in different corners different time, and so forth. Such is life, right? That's the life. This is the life that I live. This is the kind of life that I got thrown in. This is the life that God blessed me with. So, yes, if this is your first time, tuning in, look, it seems like, oh no, that's a spot over there. It seems like another pimple was coming up right here. I hate these pimples. Let us be extra. If this is your first time tuning in, I mean, absolutely first time tuning in, you never heard of the Question Live Show before, you never heard of the All You Free Enough platform before, and of course, you just never heard of Verona Willis-Brown before, I want to say to you that tonight is your night. Welcome. Put in the comment section that it is your first time. So what we could welcome you in the family. So I have a little cheerleading squad somewhere with me. So we cheer you on and we welcome you. A little bit about for those of you who are tuning in for the first time. I guess I introduce myself to you again. My name is Verona Willis-Brown. I am your host. A little bit about me is for those of first timers. I am a native of the most beautiful place in the world, and that is Jamaica. Yes, indeed. So I like to show up and represent my little island. The land of wood and water and beautiful people and beautiful food. Love the culture, diverse, right? So I like to welcome you in my family. Another thing about me is I often show up as the farmer's daughter. Yes, I am the farmer's daughter. I was born and raised on a farm. Yes, my early childhood, I was on a farm. So guess what? I know what it is to go outside and pick a fruit, go to the garden and pick a flowers, go to the garden and dig something out of it and eat. I know how to watch my parents work really, really, really hard to plant a seed and watch it grow. Most of the time, I participate. I won't say at what area, but I do participate. Again, so when I show up here and I talk about my farmer's background, I like to talk about it because at most time I am using the analogy of being a farmer's child to the topic or to the contents. And I like it to put together and apply it here. Because at most time they're planting a seed or they're planting a grain. And that's what life is all about. You plant a seed or you plant a grain. And what? You water it, you maintain it, you weed and you put out all the weeds, you do a lot of things and watch it grow. So I like to plant a seed and watch it grow. So this is a seed that I plant and I'm watching it grow as well. So I thank you so much for if this is your first time. Now, listen up. Another thing, I said I'm a farmer's daughter. I'm from a huge family. I mean, absolutely huge family. A family so huge that we're more than 5. Yes, we're more than one hand. So I'm from a huge family. And because I'm from a huge family, honey, you are just a part of this family. So if you are new, you will be a part of this family. You are now a new baby. And I love new babies, love, love, love new babies. So I welcome you to this family. For those of you who are tuning in for the second, third, fourth, fifth time, anytime after first time, you are a returning audience. And because you are a returning audience, I want to welcome you here again. Because you know what we do, that when you show up, I show up, we just show up together and we have a good time because I allow your gift to ignite my gift to ignite your gift, and we create a whole galaxy of greatness. Why would I say that? Because greatness lies within us. And here on the Question Live Show, we operate from our inside out. Yes, because greatness is on our DNA because God allowed and God so on greatness onto our DNA. So I want to say to you, thank you so much for keep on supporting. Thank you so much for keep on showing up and taking action. Whether you are new here or whether you're a returning audience, you know, we like to celebrate on this platform. We celebrate birthdays, wedding, proposal, new baby, have a baby, anniversary, your neighbor's birthday, your dog's birthday. You just got a dog, you just got a pet. We like to celebrate. And because we like to celebrate, we say, come on in here and let us know what is it that you're celebrating. I know this today, which is August 15th, India is celebrating their independence. So I said, Happy Independence to India. Yes, indeed, it is India's birth independence today. So we say Happy Independence to India. Now, whatever is it that you are celebrating, whether it is your country celebrating something like independence, or it is your birthday, your anniversary, boo's birthday, you met a boo, you develop yourself a little bit more, you wrote something, you just something great or minor, we like to celebrate it. So whether it is a small win or a big win, I ask you just to put it in the comment section so I could know what is it that we are celebrating. Because when we celebrate, it is a form of support. We are all on this journey called life. Yes, we are all on a journey called life. And on this journey, we got little paths, big paths, whatever path. You got your path, I got my path. But we are going to cross paths somewhere along the line. And when we cross paths, that's the part of life that we are talking about today. We're talking about when we cross paths, we are here to create a story, a success story. And when we cross paths, it's what you are contributing to me and I'm contributing to you that's going to define our success story. Why? Because success do not define by one person. No one person cannot define success by themselves. Whether you are the prime minister, whether you're running for the prime minister, the presidency, whatever president you're in, maybe the prime mayor, governor, teacher, student, doctor, lawyer, whatever position that you find yourself in, whether even a patient, you cannot make it through by yourself. So I encourage you to show up and be a part of somebody else's story. Show up and make a positive impact on somebody. Show up and help them write their story because they are the author of their story. So when they show up with their story, I ask you, what are your contributions to their life story? Everybody contributes somewhere along the line. Absolutely. Everybody contributes somewhere along the line. And because everybody contributes somewhere along the line, I ask you, please show up and take action. Don't just show up and peep in and just say, I'm just there. No, I appreciate you when you're sitting in the back, but I love when you come up front because when you come up front, I like to acknowledge you. Oftentimes we go through life and we don't get acknowledged. We get seen, somebody see us, or somebody accept us, somebody accept who we are, our lifestyle, our culture, but they don't acknowledge us. They don't acknowledge our presence. They don't acknowledge that we are working hard. They don't acknowledge that we are putting on every effort. They don't acknowledge that we want to be a part of the table. We have our own chair. We have a corner. They don't acknowledge that. And here I'm telling you that when you come on in this room, I would like to acknowledge you. So come on in, wave to me, say hi to me, because this is not a monologue. This is a dialogue, which is a conversation between you and I. So come on in the room, say hi to me, have a talk with me, have something in the comment section, because let me tell you something. When you put something in the comment section, I'm not the only one seeing it. Somebody's going to come behind this live and somebody else is going to see it. So I ask you just to show up and not just show up and fold your hand or look cute like me. Show up and put something in the comment section to educate somebody. Why? Because we are students and teachers at the same time. So you teach me, I teach you, and we learn together. Now, I know you out there. I know you heard this phrase before that knowledge is power. No, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is power when we acquire and we apply it and when we share it. Now it is power. Knowledge cannot be power when we only acquire it and have it to ourselves. Why? Because we cannot succeed by ourselves. That's that. We can. Another thing here I want to say to you, like, if this is your first time, we like to have fun. No, not only we like to have fun, we use F words over here. Yes, we do. We like to use F words. Well, actually, not a lot. We use 3 F words. How many F words do you know? If you know a lot, if you know 3, then you know 3. But we like to use 3 F words over here: faith, fun, and family. Faith, fun and family. You hear I talk about my family before. And the reason why I'm going to bring up my family again, because when I talk about my family, I call you closer to the screen so I can tell you some things about my family. Uh-huh. I do have the permission to talk about my family, whether they're on the live or not. I do have the permission to talk about them. I'm on the bottom of the list, but I'm like the spokesperson. Yep, I'm like the spokesperson, the CPU, all of that of the family. So yes, I do have the permission to talk about my family. So I come on in here and I talk about them. One thing I'm going to tell you about them that, like I said, we're huge. And one thing I'm going to tell you about them right about it, that we have birthdays every month. Like literally. I mean, literally. Since January 1st, all the way to December, we have birthdays. Some birthdays in this month. I'm not calling no names. But what I want to do, I want to give a big shout out to all the families that have been birthday this month. Because I might be calling names, and I'm like, oh, you forgot my birthday. But I don't forget nobody's birthday. So I said, shout out to all the family members who are having birthday this month. That's it. Uh-huh. Good. Now we talk about fun. We like to have fun over here. So we like to come on in here and we like to cheer, we like to celebrate. I have a cheerleading squad. We have a cheerleading squad. I have a cheerleading squad right here that we come on in here and we cheer for you. And we like to have fun. We like to party. We like to celebrate. Do you know celebrating is a form of support? So I do have my cheerleading squad right here. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. I do have my cheerleading squad right here. So I am not here by myself. I have a cheerleading squad and we work together. Now, let's talk about faith. That is the big word. Faith. I mean, family is big, but faith. Let me tell you something. It is faith that allowed me to come in here as your host. You think I'm playing? I'm not playing. It is faith that allowed me to get to 333 episodes. I'm not playing. It is faith that allowed me to get to season 11 of this show. You think I'm playing? Nope, I'm not playing. So if this is your first time tuning in tonight or tomorrow this morning, because somewhere it is morning already, if this is your first time tuning in on this 333 episode, let me tell you, do not take this for lightly. Don't take this for granted either, because that 333 is a solid evidence that God has done a thing or two for me, that God has manifested some things for me, that God has caused me to show up here. It is God. Those 333, it is simple saying that God has completed a section of my life, a season of my life, and is putting me in another season. Woo-wee. It is a season of abundance, honey. It is a season of overflow. It is a season of wide open doors. I've been seeing some work that I've been doing. And I'm just like, God, you just keep on doing. Goodness and mercy will keep on following me. And when goodness and mercy follow you, you are going to see the benefit of being faithful to God. Be faithful to God. My God, what I want to say, be faithful to God, and God will be faithful to you. So when I stand on my faith to show up here, that even when I'm not feeling good, even when I'm not feeling 100, I'm like, no, it is the faith that caused me to show up here to be your host. Like I said, somebody's birthday is coming up tomorrow, and I'm preparing for that. So, yeah, this is what we're doing. I'm preparing for that. So because I am preparing for somebody's birthday tomorrow, wing, I'm preparing for somebody's birthday tomorrow. I decided to come on in here today because, of course, there's not going to be a live. I don't know. But there's somebody's birthday tomorrow, so I'm preparing for that. So because I'm preparing for that, I decided to show up. But I want to show up and talk about something really, really important, and that is life. Yes, that is life. So I want to say to you, this life, Hi, Chef Mango. How are you, sweet 16? Somebody's birthday is coming up. So yeah, we're not going to talk about whose birthday it is. Somebody's birthday is coming up, and I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for somebody's birthday. You know, I'm getting ready for somebody's birthday. Yeah, I like floral. I'm a flower girl. I love flowers. I love flowers. I grew up, as I mentioned earlier, I grew up on the farm. My mother was a florist. And she was not only a florist, but she was a dressmaker. So when you combine a florist and a dressmaker, what you gonna get? A flower girl. You're going to get a flower girl, okay? And that is more. You're gonna get a flower girl. So when you get a flower girl, guess what's gonna happen, honey? I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna be dazzling. I'm gonna be having some form of flower somewhere, some dazzling somewhere, something. Because my mother represented well. She was a dressmaker for the entire community. Okay, not only for her children, she made our dresses and she made for the community as well. And for those of you who are from Jamaica, you know the deal that when it's time for school, because right now it's August, every parent, honey, well, let me say mothers, I don't know about fathers. Fathers probably working their tail off. But every mother right now, because we're in August 15th, every mother right now, probably in Jamaica right now, with school-age children, running to get those uniforms made. If y'all don't believe me, call a Jamaican right now or check with some Jamaican right now. A mother is somewhere getting her child or her daughter uniform or her son or at the tailor, getting their children uniform made right now for school, because school is going to be starting the first Monday in September, which is a couple weeks from now. So right now, uniform being made. Let me tell you, so I grew up watching my mother just sewing. I didn't pick up that talent. I did not adapt that talent. I just adapted the talent of being cute. Right? I did not pick up that talent. I did not, I'm like, no. And if you're new, I talk about my mother. My mother was a great cook as well. My mama was a lot of things. God bless her soul. She was a lot of things, honey. She did a lot. Okay? That's the life. This life is worth living. And I am living on the shoulder of my parents' legacy. I'm living that out. I'm living it out because it is worth living out their legacy. Like I said, they were entrepreneurs. Before I even could have pronounced the word entrepreneurs, oh my goodness, my parents were entrepreneurs. They were all of that. So before I even know what that was, before I even could spell the word, and mind you, I was always brilliant. I was always that brilliant girl, right? I was always that brilliant girl that just like, hey, I know how to do this. In Jamaica, like you come first in your class or second in your class. I'm always the come first girl, okay? I'm always coming first in my class. So for those of you who know the grading system in the Caribbean, you know, you come first, you're top of the class. Yeah, I was a student. So entrepreneur was a big word. I just never knew that big word. I what is that? But I tell you a story. I like to talk about myself because I'm the only one that could talk about my story. I tell you about big words, right? Before I get into this life is worth living. But this is a part of this life is worth living. It's a part of it. I tell you a story. And if you can relate, you can put that you can relate. I tell you a story. I said entrepreneur. It took me a while to pronounce that word because I'm like, this don't even look like entrepreneur, okay? But I remember growing up in school. Like I said, I was a sub student in class. But I remember growing up, my elder sister used to be, she was the mentor. You know, she was the one that say, oh, let me check homework. Oh, let me check to see what you're doing. So she was the one that was on top. Like, yeah, you better get that right. Yeah, you better get it right. Spell that right. Spell that right. And if you don't get it right, bam. Everybody know what I'm talking about? And she used to call, well, right now, this is the new me. But when she used to braid up my hair, and what my sister used to do, she would have I would be studying, right? So this is the book, and I'm studying, I'll do my homework, and she would be braiding my hair or something. And she was like, okay, what is that? What is that? What is that? So she's holding my head, doing two things at the same time. Well, how are you doing my hair and you watching my homework, right? But she would sit there and she would let me spell words. So I used to be afraid of big words. Entrepreneur was one of them. Well, I didn't learn that until way later in life. I learned that big word, entrepreneur. But my biggest word, come on in here. My biggest word that I learned was Mississippi. Y'all hear that word? Mississippi? I could not pronounce that word for the life of me, and I couldn't spell it for the life of me. Lord knows I got some good slapping on my finger. I got some good slapping on my head. I got some good slapping on my shoulder. I got some good slapping like Mississippi. Spell that word Mississippi. So I got so afraid of big words that I was not even, no. And I probably was in the 4th grade learning to spell Mississippi because I was studying the states of the United States of America, all the states. I was studying whatever topic it was. I was studying those states, and Mississippi is one of them. And I had to study all of them and learn that, right? And when I could not spell that word, Mississippi, or pronounce it, I was like, woo! What is that? You got I, a whole bunch of letters were going on with that word. All I saw was MIS. Why you got all that stuff coming after that? Who made up that word? And what does it mean? Who made up that word? And I learned that word, and that was my big word that I had to study and study Mississippi. So when I learned that word, I promised myself that, oh no, I'm not going to be trying to say no big words, nowhere online. I'm not going to say it in public. I'm going to find the smallest word to say. Hey, New York is small, right? New Jersey is small. But I'm going to find the smallest word. And that leads me to write one of my last book. Oh no, it's not really my, yeah, well, it's kind of my last book. This book. That's the reason. That's another reason why I did this book, because I put a lot of small words in this book because I'm like, no, if you ask me to read this book, I don't want to read this book. And then when I start reading this book, I'm sounding crazy. So I started judging myself in such a way when it came to big words. And I'm like, And then when I discovered the word Mississippi, I'm like, oh, Jesus, what does Mississippi? When I discovered the word entrepreneur, I'm like, entrepreneur? I'm like, I can't even spell that word because it's the entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is spelled with an E-N. How was it pronounced entrepreneur? And I remember mentoring some youths, and I gave them the word to see who was going to get it correct. Some Jamaican youths that I mentor. Yes, I'm a youth mentor, right? And I was telling them to pronounce the word, and they were pronouncing it in a different way. And I'm like, no. But however they learned how to pronounce it, I was like, go ahead and say that word. Yeah, that's the word. That's the word. But anyway, that is the life. That's the life. The life is worth living, and life is worth living when you live it in simple gratitude way. Be grateful, right? Life is worth living when you live a humble life. Life is worth living when you live a grateful life. Life is worth living when you live kind and compassionate and don't judge. Because when we tend to judge people based on what we are seeing. We tend to judge people based on our story. But when we meet people in their story, let us welcome them in that story. Right? So we tend to do that. And I was judging myself for a lot of reasons. First, I was judging myself to say, I can't pronounce big words. I'm not this. I'm not that. And when we start judging, when we start saying, I am not. But I say this before, that anything that you put after I am, you start wearing that. You start accepting that. And I use I am not. But no, God told me that I am. So that not was not a part of me. No, you are not going to be a part of me, right? So again, this life is worth living. So I want to share a story with you. I want to share a story with you to let you know that life is really worth living. And it's really worth living in a way. It's really worth living in a way where you're making an impact. You're making a positive impact on people. And I grew up in a family. Oh my goodness. I grew up in a family that if I go back to my community right now, my last name means a lot. It says a lot. They know that last name. Not that they didn't know everybody's last name. They did. But there was something about my last name that caused me to represent my family last name everywhere that I go. Right? Because you would go in there like, oh yeah, that's it. That's a Willis-Brown. Yeah, 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 that's a Willis. Right? So they know that what we have very strong genes. So once I show up, they're like, that's our father's child. Right? That's our father's child. So if I go back to my community right now, that's our father's child. They would identify me. So we had an image, and I still carry that image of representing my parents because my father once told me, have integrity. My mother once told me, have manners, right? So when you look at having manners and have integrity, when you put those two together, your characteristic go to show up and mean something. Your characteristic is going to show up. You're going to show up with a characteristic where you are showing up to make an impact. You are not showing up to impress nobody. You're making an impact. So with my mother saying, have manners. It doesn't matter how many degrees you get. Have integrity. When my father says, he's saying that simple mean whatever you do behind here, it's going to reflect when you show up here. So what is happening? I take having manners and respect and having integrity, and I combine them. And I say, when I show up as your host, I am showing up saying that to you. I have respect for you. Why? Because I have respect for myself. I am greeting you with manners because what? I have that for myself and for my parents. When I'm showing up with you is because before I came on here, I remember my father's voice. Integrity. I am showing up because I am building a legacy with an integrity at the door that when you knock on that door of my legacy, it's integrity that's going to answer you. So yes, indeed, when I show up, I'm not showing up just looking cute. So I am telling you this to let you know I'm going to give you a story. Come on in here. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. No. Just don't. If you want to peep in, if you want to sit in the back, that's fine. We don't judge nobody here. Come on in the room. I want to share this story with you of what happened to me over the weekend. No, really. I want to talk about what happened to me over the weekend. I want to talk about what happened to me over the weekend, right? And it just dawned on me today. It's Thursday. It just dawned on me today. It like literally like knocked me today. Couple weeks ago, I'm sharing this story. Couple weeks ago, I got a call. Life is worth living because now I'm going to tell you, it's like I'm reliving this thing. A couple weeks ago, I got a phone call that somebody died. And when I got the call that somebody died, I'm like, what? Who's that? It didn't register. So I sent back to the person who gave me the call, like, what? So the person repeated the death news, like this person died. It shocked me, like, oh my God, like what? Oh my God, this is a young person. Like this is like death don't discriminate, honey. Death is not racist. Death don't discriminate. Death is not prejudice. Death pick up wherever it lodge. And I'm like, oh my God, like what happened to this young man? This young man died. Like no way. Just to let you know, I know this young man. It's somebody that I know. And I was so shocked by it, like shocked by the death news. Like oh my God, like no way. I mean, I haven't seen this person in a long time. I haven't talked to this person in a long time. But the fact that I know this person personally, it blew my mind. Like, oh my God, like what happened? Yeah, we tend to ask when death hit, like what happened? Like, how did you die? Sometimes you want to know how a person died. Sometimes you're like, no. But at most time we want to know what happened. You want to know how you died. Right? And we have a tendency to ask that, like, how? So I'm like, what? So what I did when I got the news, I'm like, sometimes that news go as a rumor. It spread, it goes around. So I have the mother's phone number. And I sent a message to the mother and I said, there's a news going around that this person died, that your son died. So the mother took a while to answer me back. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like this must be true because she didn't reply to me. And when she finally replied to me, she said, oh, I'm so sorry for the delay of replying to you, but it is true. He's gone. Here I go again. I'm shocked again. Life is worth living. Okay. I got shocked again. So like, oh my God, double shock. Like what? How? What happened? Was he sick? Oh my God. She said, no, he didn't show no sign that he was sick. He's gone. Oh my God. I call up my girlfriend. I'm like, oh my God, this person died. Unaware. And I'm going to get to what I'm telling you, unaware of something. So probably a week before the funeral was scheduled. A week before the funeral, the mom got in touch with me again. And she asked me to give a tribute. And now that I'm talking about it, it's like just hitting me. She asked me to give a tribute at the funeral. Oh my God, Lord, listen to me. Life is worth living because at no point in life, at no point, nowhere I know that I would achieve the very things that I already achieved, the very things that I'm going after. I'm still going after them. As you can see, I'm if you don't know, I'm an author. I'm a show host. I'm a podcaster. I'm a blogger. I'm a lifestyle coach. You met a lot of things that I have accomplished. I'm an international speaker. I have accomplished a lot. Okay. And still, I have not been fulfilled. I'm still empty. And when I got a call, and I'm like, give what? I said, excuse me? A tribute to a funeral in a funeral? And I said, no. What? Excuse me? She said, yes. Right? She said, yes. I would like for you to give a tribute, please. And I'm like, oh my God. Taken aback, like, how did you pick me to do this? How did I get picked? But life is worth living, and when you live a life worth living, you will get picked. Like you will get somebody's gonna choose you. Somebody will choose you when you live a life worth living. And oh my God, like how could I give a tribute at a funeral? Like that's not really me. I would like to go to a funeral and just sit quietly, like, oh my God, like this person's gone. No, I would like for you to be here. And actually I had something planned, and I said to my friend, I'm like, we have to go to this funeral because I just asked to give a tribute. So even if I was going where I originally planned to go, I had to cancel that because now I'm like, okay, I guess I'll be there. Yeah, but I never gave her an answer. Like, oh my God, yes, I'll be honored to do this. And I'm just going back and forth with him. I'm like, oh, am I going to give a tribute at a funeral? Now, I went to the funeral over the weekend. Yes, I went to the funeral over the weekend. And in the nick of time I got to the funeral, they called my name. They called my name. And I stepped up, and I didn't know. I timed myself in such a way to give a short tribute, very, very short. Because I did not want to break down crying because sometimes we hold on to our tears. But I think I got in the nick of time, not knowing what time limit I had. Life is worth living, people. Life is worth living, that you make an impact on life, because you never know when somebody's going to need you, somebody's going to call on you. And I went up and I gave a tribute to the family and in memory of this person that died, young man. And I showed up and I gave a tribute. And today, so many days went by, I was watching a replay of the funeral. It was an unction for me to watch a replay of the funeral. Come on in here, let me share this, because it's very important that we make a positive impact on people. And I was watching, when I finished, like, oh my God, like, yeah, you gave a speech, that was really good. And somebody sent me a screenshot, like, oh my God, I saw you gave a speech. And I'm like, okay, like, I felt like I was in a whole different world giving a speech. But today I was watching the funeral all over again, and it dawned on me. Or I saw it went across the screen. That's where you see this going across the screen. It went across the screen that I was a classmate of this person. Oh, here I go again in shock. I went and have another shock moment that I was the classmate of this person. this? How did I not know that I was a classmate? It goes to show you that when you allow God to do things for you, when you allow God to preserve you, when you allow yourself to serve God in such a way, God will preserve you in such a way and guard you. It will guard you and it will guide you at the same time. Because I know it had to be God that guided me in such a way that I wouldn't know that this was a classmate of mine. Because I would have just fallen out like, oh my God, how did I get to a point in my life where I am standing to give a tribute to my classmate? Somebody that I went to school with, somebody that I started pre-K with. How did I get to this point in my life where I am giving a tribute to a classmate? I never dreamt of this. I never dreamt of me standing nowhere at a casket of a classmate of mine. Like, no. But you see, life don't tell you what is going to happen. Life don't tell you when it's your turn, that turn, nobody's turn. Life don't call it like, hey, do you know that in this time, this person's going to leave? And life don't call you and tell you these things. So I am telling this story, not to recap, because right now I'm telling this story, I'm getting so overwhelmed on my inside now that I realized that this was my classmate. This was somebody that I sat next to. This was somebody that I helped with his schoolwork. This was somebody that I helped, like, hey, we're sharing benches together. This was somebody that, hey, you didn't get it? Let me show you. As I said, that I was always a top student. So this was somebody that I mentor. This was somebody that I helped with their work. This was somebody that I had to pass their house to go to my house. And when I look at it in this manner now, 4 days later, I'm saying, oh my God. Oh my God, I stood over my classmate casket. So I am saying this to say that life comes in so many angles. Live a life that is worth living. That it's worth living. Not to say that you are going to be the one that's going to give a speech at your classmate funeral, but you never know who's going to call on you for something else. Live a life worth living, because if I didn't live a life worth living as that little student that grew up to be your host, I would not be picked, because there were so many classmates. There were so many students there. How did so many years later that I got chosen to do this assignment? It goes back to what I'm saying, faith. How did I get to this point where I got to this point where I choose you to give a tribute in memory of your classmate. And I'm giving this memory and I'm giving this tribute, not even having a memory of this person being next to me in class. Not having that memory to say that I helped this person in class. How did I not? Because God preserved me. Because Lord knows, let me tell you something. Just to say I'm reliving this moment, like my inside is so overwhelmed right now. And God knows that if I had known and if I was aware in that moment standing over that casket, that was my classmate, I would have been still crying. I would have still been booing wind, and my tribute would have been going north, south, east, and west. It would have been going all over the place. But God says no. God said, you are worthy of this day. You are worthy of this time. You are worthy. Your life is worth this moment. You live a life worthy to be called for this. You live a life worthy enough that even your family name got stamped right here in this moment for such a time as this. Today, his mom sent me a message, a thank you message. You know, I'm talking about the speech, and I'm like, oh my God, like what? Like, oh my God, like that was my classmate. Like, oh my God. Like, how did I not know this? Right? But it is so important that we live a life worth living. This life is worth living. That when we're talking about when we show up, we're not showing up just because. We are showing up with an intention to impact someone. We are showing up with an intention to impact a nation, to impact a community and generations to come. When we are showing up, we are showing up with the impact to impact somebody with love and kindness. When we are showing up, we're not showing up just to get accolades. We're not showing up because we are going for something. We're not showing up because, hey, vote for me. We're not showing up because of that. We're showing up because we have an assignment deep inside of us that's sewn onto our DNA from before we were born. This day was already carved out. Before I was born, this day, this funeral day was already in place that you are going to be standing there giving a tribute. Before I was born, this was a life that says it's going to be worth living. Live the life. Live that very life that's going to cause you to stand and impact at least one person. At least one. Right? At least one person. That when you impact at least one person, that one person be able to impact another. Because when I finished giving that tribute and I was leaving, it was one of my youths that I mentor. Send me a photo because what she did, she screenshot me on the screen giving that tribute. And said, oh, I saw you. I would know that she's watching. So when you are going through life, you don't know who is watching you. When you are going through life, be careful of the mentality that you are going through life with. Do not judge silently. Show up. And when you show up into a place to impact somebody. Because my little student that I'm mentoring sending me this, I'm like, what? You saw me? Right? So it was so funny, but I was so honored that there she was. She did not send me something where I am on social media doing the worst of the worst, right? And she's like, oh, look at her. And she's trying to mentor me to do the best thing. And look at what she's doing, right? Be careful of how you are showing up on social media. Be careful of how you are judging and what you're posting. Be careful of what you're posting because somebody is watching you from the back. Somebody's watching you when you don't even know, because I would have thought this girl was going to be watching that. How would I know this? She did not know this guy. She's way young. So she wouldn't know this guy. So I would not even think for a moment that she's watching this. So when you are posting up something on social media, when you are showing up on social media, be careful of what you are posting. When you are showing up, you don't have to be a host like I am a host. But when you start videotaping and posting, be careful of what you are posting, because that post is going to be trailing. You see, back then when I was growing up in Jamaica, there was no social media. There was no social media, but there was some more communication skills that if you did something in school, it's going to get home to your parents before you get there. Whatever transmission was happening there, whatever you did in school, it was going to travel ahead of you before you get home. And when you get home and you get to that door or you get to the gate and your mama got her hand on her hip, Lord knows you know what's going to happen. And sometime before you even get home, somebody's going to meet you half of the way with their hand on the hip, and you're going to get it before you get home. Okay? So back then, we didn't have no social media. We were like, oh, you were fighting. Oh, you were this. Oh, you were that. Post. Oh, you this. Oh, you that. Post. No matter what, good or bad we did, nobody was posting anything, honey. No. But now, social media is so open. Social media is the world in our hand, and we are posting everything. Everything. Let me tell you, everything, it is going to follow you. Social media will follow you. I am watching you. I'm watching you watching me. How about that? So we watching each other. So let me tell you something. When that student sent me that message that, oh, I saw you, I was glad that I made an impact, that she saw me I can send me back a photo, say, I saw you giving a speech and smiling, right? I saw you at somebody's funeral and you talking and I could smile, right? And when somebody said, I saw you with, and they're like, they smiling, honey, that simply means that my life is worth living. When my life is worth living, I will continue to live that life. Live your life worth living, that no matter where you go, whether you're at a funeral, whether you're at a wedding, whether you're at a party, carry yourself in such a way that you are making a positive impact on somebody's life. Make your life worth living, because you will never know who is watching. You never know who's going to call you as they show up on behalf. Now, when I show up to give a tribute, I didn't show up to give a tribute on behalf only of me and representing me or in memory of my classmate. I show up representing my entire family, my entire community, my entire generation, the other classmates, and generations to come. So let me tell you something. Show up. Show up with a life worth living, because that life worth living will mean something to somebody else. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Question Line Show. And I want to say, Chef Mango, thank you. I want to say again, it is India Independence. Well, on the 14th, it was India Independence. No, on the 15th is India Independence. So we want to say happy independence to India. Yes, indeed. Happy independence to India. Go ahead, and we ask that you make an impact on somebody's life. May each citizen find their own independence and make an impact on somebody's life. So as we go through life, don't forget to make a positive impact. As we pause, again, there might not be a show tomorrow, but you just never know where we're going to show up. It is summertime. Schedule's changing. We're doing different things in the summertime. Keep your eyes open for summer streaming. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Hit the notification bell that when I go live, you just never know where I'm going to show up. You won't be missing out. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Question Line Show with your host, moi, Verona Willis-Brown.